Hey guys, welcome. Sorry, I was actually just looking up some court records for this stream so we could do all of this completely legitimate. Okay, so welcome to my channel. It's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So, we have got to talk. There has been some interesting developments here. Okay, so before we start about the nitty gritty, we are going to talk about sister wives today. And I want to talk about something related to, oops, I got one of my curls is out of place. Sorry. Anyways, sister wives and basically what's going on here. We got to talk. This is crazy. Okay. So we know that this entire season, I just want to start from here. So when season 14 started, we were like, the Browns were moving, had recently moved from Las Vegas to Flagstaff, Arizona. And the move was very quick, very kind of haphazard, not very well thought out. And there was some questions about like why are they moving there, what's going on. Like they up and left like all of their houses that were in Las Vegas. They had spent several years like building this perfect cul-de-sac where basically like all of the women and all of the like the ladies and had houses that were like in this cul-de-sac right next to each other. And for some reason they decided that they were going to move. And the move coincided with Robyn's son Dayton ending up going to college and going to Northern Arizona University. And there was just a lot of like, why are they moving to Arizona? This is weird. They end up buying this like this property at Coyote Pass, which ultimately is like a bunch of lots that cost like 800 and some $1,000, I think. No, I don't even know. A lot. Yeah, 800 and some $1,000. So they plunk down a bunch of cash on property there, and then they also buy a house for Christine, when they moved to Arizona, she ends up buying a home for $560,000. Mary rents a house, Janelle rents a house, Robyn rents a house, but at the end of the season we see Robyn and Kody going to close, and they're not ready to close, and then there's these issues with like all of their finances. Well, we know that the house actually closed because here I'll show you. This was the property that they purchased. This is the affidavit of the property value. This is like property records from the state or from the county in Coconino. They bought the home in August of 2019. The closing date was August 30th, and they put down $222,500, and their sales price for that was $890,000. And with that, they ended up purchasing the property, which was a home, and the adjacent property next door. The valuation of the property was like around, I think, $910,000 at that time. So this was less than a year ago. They put down this money, they sell the house, they buy the house, they move in. Well, apparently, sometime between now and then, they have run out of cash. So here's the part that I find interesting. When Sister Wives was on the air this year, they actually had taken a pay cut. So they purchased when they started the season 11 was like the last time the Sister Wives were making really good money. So they were making like $180,000 each per season. So they, as a family, up until season 11, were raking in around, for all five of them, $900,000 a year. Well, in order to stay on the air after season 11, he took a humongous pay cut. And so he ended up taking a $180,000 for the entire season for the full family. So they basically cut their income from $900,000 per season to $180,000. And that was simply to stay on air. Okay. Now, I should note that just prior to, and this was what I was actually looking up, just prior to starting filming of Sister Wives, Kody and Mary had actually, they had filed for bankruptcy. So in 2008 or 5, they filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy in the state of Wyoming. And when they filed for bankruptcy, they had claimed over $144,000 in unsecured or in secured property or in secured debt, and they had real like income property assets. I think they valued at personal assets at $14,000. They had a home which was like $108,000, but they had a mortgage against it. So they basically had $14,000 that they claimed as income, but they had $144,000 in secured debt and $85,000 in credit card debt. So they filed in 2005 and it was discharged in 2008. They go on air in 2009. And I'll note that they had been struggling financially because not only Kody and Mary filed for bankruptcy, but Janelle and Christine had all previously filed for bankruptcy at some point in the last, I think Janelle was in 92 or 95, and then Christine was a few years later. So all of them have filed for bankruptcy. Actually, I think Christine's was... Christine Brown was in, oh man, she was in, of course, there's a million Christine Browns. Hers was the last of the three, I think, where they ended up doing bankruptcy. So she ends up declaring bankruptcy as well. So all of them at some point in time have just declared bankruptcy. They've all been on food stamps and public assistance. Well, now it seems that the family is looking for a emergency loan. So, okay, they purchased the property in August of 2019. They plunked down $222,000. And according to the Sun, now I was trying to find the recording documents on the Coconino recorder's office, and I couldn't find anything yet, but they apparently have obtained the documents. And he and Robyn applied for a $150,000 home equity loan on their property that they just purchased. That's not typical. You wouldn't typically take out a loan when you've just purchased a home within less than a year. So, anyways, they end up signing this. When they apply for it on March 20th. And they actually do an urgent, they do a legal document that they did such urgency. It wrote, time is of the essence in the performance of this deed of trust. The money was of such necessity that they agreed in the official county documents to waive their rights to Arizona's homestead exemption. So the homestead exemption would protect $150,000 of home equity should they file bankruptcy in the state. And it would be cataloged as their primary residence. So basically meaning like they've waived this, that if they file for bankruptcy, their loan in their home is not protected. Typically, if you file for bankruptcy, your house would be protected as a part of that process. So you would be able to like protect your home, but they're saying like they needed the money so bad, they've waived that. And so, they are like not protected as their primary residence if they file for bankruptcy. So they need $150,000. The maturity date on the loan is 2050. They're using TCF Bank in order to get this, and the loan was approved on the 31st of March. So they basically slashed their equity down to $75,000 that they have into this house. And now maybe the property value has gone up, but still, one of the biggest fights in this entire season was Robyn and him fighting about not having to use the equity that she had received from selling her home in Las Vegas to like buy property and to build on property on Coyote Pass. So if they're taking equity out of her home, is it to live on or is it to build? $150,000 isn't going to get them very far to build. And I'm guessing this is because they're short of cash. Sister Wives is not filming. They took a massive pay cut. I don't know what Kody does for work. He's never really he's a businessman. Robyn doesn't really work. You've got Christine that is doing LLR. Same with, you've got Mary doing LLR. And these pyramid schemes, while people can make money, they're also told to invest a huge portion of everything that they make back into the company. So how much Mary actually has liquid is very hard to know, because the way that these companies run is LuLaRoe says, okay, you've made X amount of money. Now you need to reinvest that and get more inventory. I mean, she has so much inventory. She's got boxes and boxes and boxes of it in her garage. You saw her with moving, how much clothing she had when she was moving. So what kind of liquid assets she has is really, who knows. But that's not even her problem, because she's not married anymore to Kody. She doesn't have any. The only loans that she has with Kody is the Coyote Pass property. So, this is, they should have stayed in Las Vegas 100%. They clearly are in a financial mess. They have a mortgage that now has, like, what? It was 600 some thousand. Now there are $700,000 into $700,000 plus into debt onto that property that he bought with Robyn. He and Christine have a mortgage which is over $400,000 on their house. And then they have like $800,000 of debt with some random financing company that has some sort of balloon payment on the property for the Coyote Pass. So they have a lot of debt. So I'm like, how did he think that they could do this? Like, clearly in the time that they've been on the air, they have not done anything for saving. They have not done anything for... my biggest question when they moved to Flagstaff was, why are you uprooting your homes that you have purchased that are huge houses by any means, you have no reason to move, other than the fact that a lot of people were speculating that the reason they had moved was because their maturity date on their balloons had maybe come to fruition, so they would have had to refinance or come up with the full amount of money due on the properties in Las Vegas. Because when he built those houses, he was always just like, well, this isn't going to be our permanent house, or this isn't going to be where we live forever. And he is known to be using these really sketchy, like, loans that are 5-year balloons through these weird financing companies, which is what they did for some of the properties that they purchased at Coyote Pass. So those properties at Coyote Pass theoretically could end up ballooning, and he's in the same situation. So I'm kind of confused here about why, like, why they made these decisions. And one of my criticisms, and some of you guys were critical of this, was why did they move from Las Vegas to Flagstaff before they sold their homes? And a lot of you were like, well, a lot of people do that. And I'm like, well, not a lot of people do that carrying 4 mortgages and then going to a new place and buying property. It makes zero financial sense to carry that much debt when you're moving. It just doesn't make sense. You would typically, if you're going to be smart about it, sell your property first and then purchase a home, because you don't know how long you're holding on to that other property. And for them, they ended up holding on to some of that property for almost a year after they moved. And they took a humongous equity cut they lost a lot of equity in the sales of the homes because the market in Vegas kind of crashed. So some people just love living a certain lifestyle and will do anything they can to maintain it. It could be this. But, and they've got kids in colleges. They do. They've got kids in college. They've got lots of going on. And Stacy reminds us that Kody actually made Robyn buy, and she didn't want to. Kody's son, Sue says, you mentioned that Robyn's son was going to college in Flagstaff. He is. So Kody, her son, is going to college in Flagstaff. They all have champagne tastes on a beer budget. So my question is then, like, if this is the situation that we're faced right now, do you think then that we are going to be looking at another bankruptcy? I mean, they could theoretically file for bankruptcy. Think about that. That's like kind of crazy. They could end up in bankruptcy for, the bazillionth time. Bazillionth. Bazillionth. Where is Christine's bankruptcy? I can't remember if it was in Utah or Wyoming. Oh, Christine's was in Utah. So Christine's was in Utah. I'm guessing theirs in Utah was in... Christine's filed bankruptcy. Janelle's filed bankruptcy. Mary's filed bankruptcy. Robyn hasn't filed bankruptcy. Could be Robyn's first time. But, you've got 4 families. You have consistently used public assistance. Now you are needing $150,000 really fast, that you're waiving the right for that your house not be protected if you file for bankruptcy. Think about that. Think about that, you guys. If they file bankruptcy, their house is not protected. Who does that? I don't understand why they all have such extravagant homes. He seems very impulsive and a terrible planner. I agree. Marissa says they are so dishonest. I feel like to them bankruptcy is a right, like it's a form of social security. Yeah, and this is a problem with what we see in polygamy, is that so much fraud happens. Sadly, everybody will be filing bankruptcy after this economy. And the sad part is right now is that this economy is bad, right? So we've got everything that's going on with the virus, but we can't blame this solely on the virus. That just makes zero sense. This can't be blamed on that. It can't. Like, what does Kody actually do for work? He doesn't. And what does, like, Janelle, and all of them work in pyramid schemes, and they were relying on money from the show, which clearly isn't paying their bills anymore. And they have these extravagant lifestyles that, they don't know how to support. So as Lilia says, they should have stayed in Vegas. So that's what I've got today. Jamie says no, but they will blame it on the virus. Now, a lot of you that are, and Shady says, Shady Booty. I love that. I love your name, Shady Booty. Shady Booty says MLMs are not careers. Lorraine says, if anything, Sister Wives ratings went up as a result of self-isolation. 100% ratings did go up. You can blame it on Kody and his poor decisions. No virus responsible for their situation. Exactly, Corinne. This has nothing to do with the virus. A lot of you are dealing with economic issues related to the virus. And for that, I am completely empathetic to those of you that have to make these very dramatic decisions. But in this case, I really don't think this is virus related. It can't be. There's no way. This family just doesn't have money. I mean, every single season, it's like, we're going to go broke. We can't do this. What are we going to do? We're going to fall apart. Why would anyone buy clothes that are marked up to pay for her lifestyle? I don't know. She sells a lot of clothes, but have you seen the clothes? I was watching one of the sales. The shirts are so ugly. The shirts are so ugly, and they're like $45 for a shirt like this. I mean, and this is a cuter shirt. So Robyn fought so hard not to buy, and within 6 to 7 months, they are in this position. Perhaps Kody should have listened to her. Exactly, Marissa. She didn't want to buy. And Joanne says, and the children are all embarrassed. Probably. Isn't Kody land rich but cash poor? No, Kody has loans on everything. Everything. He doesn't have equity in anything. He doesn't own the right. He doesn't own the property outright on Coyote Pass. That is all held by an LLC that owns it, that he has a balloon payment on, that he's likely paying interest only on. I don't think he has much for cash to begin with at all. And Jill says she didn't need that big of a house. Correct. And, oh wait, I just saw one about, Jesse Bear says, LLR is ugly. Like my young kids pick out better outfits. I love dressing like a kindergartner that's colorblind. Oh my God, Stacy. Sorry if you're colorblind. That was her. Sounds like the last thing. Oh, they're going so fast. Sounds like the last thing he needs is a fifth wife and more kids. Exactly. You guys, your comments are going so fast. You guys are having so much fun. Yeah. Why are they not filming? They're not filming because all of production for all of these shows is completely shut down. That is why they are not filming. So, wow, balloon payments are only good for investors, not people actually planning on living on the property. Yep, that's exactly right. And they do these balloon payments a lot, because they don't have the best credit. I mean, imagine what their credit looks like with all the debt he carries. Can you imagine? Kody seems to move when it gets hard. Too bad life is hard and you can't fix it with a new wife. I know, right? It's like everybody's like, I'm gonna move, I'm gonna file bankruptcy, I'm gonna do something, so it's not my problem. Oh my God, Desiree, the clothes look like the laundry basket attached to you. You guys are so funny today. The clothes look like a laundry basket attacked you on the way out. Penny says, what a bunch of hateful people you all are. Yes, Penny, we are so hateful and spiteful. I was actually just laughing at that comment. We are all in a good mood, and also cabin fever makes you kooky. I love your name, Shady Booty. Oh my goodness. I don't know how they only make $180,000 per season. That's not very much. They took a huge pay cut. Imagine how Robyn's son feels. The whole family moved for him. I know. Can you imagine what he wants to tent? That he wants to Wasn't the money put into a trust by the show for the kids? Probably not. I highly doubt it. And even if it isn't a trust for the kids, they can access that trust at any time. What do they really own? Nothing. They have a lot of mortgages and not a lot of income. I don't normally judge people for poor financial decisions, but when you do it over and over again, well, that's on them. Yeah, and I think with this case, it's just that they continue to make such poor decisions. So Shady Booty is my kind of TV friend. Is my unkind TV. Oh, you guys. You guys are so funny. All of the houses in Vegas have sold, yes. So Justine says, have all the houses in Vegas sold? Yes, that is right. Yes, I do have hostile feelings towards Desiree really doesn't like LLR clothing. They put themselves out there for the public. It's all fair game now. Are you kidding me? Correct. Kody is probably looking for a very wealthy fifth wife. Well, he might. Well, there we go. I told everyone over to come see you at Unkind TV. It's another channel. Oh. I love that. Thank you. All right, so that's what I've got. They're broke. They need a loan. They're getting a loan. Who's going to file for bankruptcy next? Here's the questions. Will Robyn get a job? What does Kody do for a living? Will Mary finally flee with her LLR inventory and cash? What will happen with Christine? Will they ever build on Coyote Pass? Who will be on food stamps and welfare first? What's going on here? Tell me in the comments, and I'll be back later with more. Bye, guys.